Hi, this is Vicky from Learning Home Volunteers, and welcome to our new learning session entitled Plastic Eggs. I know this seems like a strange learning idea, but plastic eggs can be used for all sorts of learning activities, and right now they're very inexpensive. So now you and your family are the proud owner of a dozen plastic eggs. There are so many things you can do with them. You can make animals. Here, check these out. How cute are those? And as we'll do later in the session, you can also try to sink them underwater by putting things in the eggs, or you can match them to letters that are hidden inside, or to your color cards as they match up, or to your number cards. And you can play games. We can do stacking, like a time stacking, which is really super fun, or an old fashioned egg race. And there's more. There's so much more, but we'll get to those later in the next couple of weeks. But before we get started, let's try with this week's activities and let's look at the books. We have four great books which we hope will bring a little laughter while we work and learn. And our first book is a book called Chewy Louie, and it's about a puppy. After reading this book, can you guess what the puppy did with my book? Our next book is a funny book about green eggs and ham. Have you ever tried a new food? I remember my daughter trying ice cream for the first time. She was super nervous because it was the first thing she'd ever had that was super cold. Do you think she actually tried it? Or do you think she's never had ice cream? We'll talk about it later. Our next book is The Five Little Ducks. And The Five Little Ducks is a preschool song. It's one of my favorite songs to sing with my young friends. And maybe we can do it this session and sing it together. And then to finish off the session, we have another counting book called Stack the Cat. This time we actually count cats instead of ducks, but we stack them. How silly is that? Well, this is activity number one, and there are four games that you can play with these plastic eggs. This is our first game, and it has a number of different variations. For the most part, you want to take the two parts of the plastic eggs apart to get started. This first one is actually to match the number of dots to the print number on the bottom. In our second game, we're going to actually match the two halves of the colors so that the color on the top and the color on the bottom are the same. Obviously, I need a lot more work on my color recognition if this is our end result. And then, although we didn't mark the eggs, you can use tape to cover up the dots and print numbers and change them over to letters. And you can have them work on matching upper or lowercase letters or even two letters of the same case, which or if your child is beyond that, you can have the print letter at the top and a word that begins with that letter, whatever you like. Our second game is actually to see who can stack the halves the tallest with actually having them fall over. You can see they don't stack up very straight. And if you need to make it more difficult, you can put a time limit on it so they have to do their stacking in a certain amount of time. Or you can have them do it where they have to match up all the colors. So, all the yellows have to be together, then all the blues, and then all of the whatever colors have to match up next. All of these things can make it a little bit more complicated, and different players could have different rules so that if you have siblings that are older than one or the other, you can make it more of an even game. Our third game is actually to transfer the egg half from the table to an awaiting cup. You want to place the straw not on the hole. Okay, you can see the hole here. And then suck in. And while sucking, you want to pick it up off the table and then you want to move it into the cup and let go of the sucking and it'll fall into the cup. And this game could be a race between two people or a timed event. Our fourth game is to play egg races. Now you can put your egg on a spoon like this, and then you can, set a finish line and off they go. And whoever gets their to the finish line with their egg on the spoon wins. Now, if your egg falls off the spoon during the race, just put it back on and continue the race. If you have enough people, you can make teams and do a relay race. So in this way, there are two people on each thing, and they start at the same line and they have to carry the egg to the next person and then transfer it from their spoon to the other person's their teammate's spoon, and then the teammate runs back to the beginning. First train over the starting line again wins. Another way is to actually push the egg on the ground with your nose. This is actually super fun. Or you can try doing it, putting it in your mouth and the spoon in your mouth and do it. Both of these variations are super amusing. Um, Activity number two is actually growing carrot tops. Did you know that many vegetables can be grown from the vegetable itself? And this is true for carrots. You want to cut the slice from the top of the carrot and leave a little bit of the stem, and then put the carrot in a bowl of water. And about a week, it'll actually start to grow. Check out the new leaves that are coming and the sprouts that are coming out the bottom. Once you get a stem that's long enough, you can actually put it in the ground, leave the leaves above the ground, but put the rest in the dirt. And then it'll continue to grow if you actually water it. Well, that's all for this week. Next week, we're going to read Green Eggs and Ham and do some activities. We'll see you then.